Here's Bedard at the right circle. Below the right circle now. He'll get it to the line for Brown. Now to Suzdalev, top of the left circle, waits, he shoots, he scores! 22nd of the season for Alexander Suzdalev. Here's Bedard, top of the right circle, along the board, centers it in front for Stringer, it's loose, it's stopped, rebound, Howe, score! First in 7 games for Tanner Howe. Connor Bedard got slashed right there, there's a delayed penalty, it's fed up the ice. Here's Bedard, he's got one more to beat, in over the blue line, right side, he shoots, score! 6th point of the night for Connor Bedard, his 4th of the game, another shorthanded goal. I'm in awe right now.
I thought he was done.
He's not.
Welcome to Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast, with your hosts Chris Clark and Kevin Shaw. This is our episode number 124 for January 8th, 2023, 2 days before the trade deadline. And wow,
dun, dun, dun.
So lots going on. You know, trade is the word of the day. But I think we'll start with a few days back. We'll start with the Pats trades here before we get into our usual chat. Earlier this week, Pats dealt Matthew Keeper. We said, something's going to happen here with the goalies, and Keeper was the one to move on. I mean, I don't want to say he's the odd man out, but
I think was because he's gone. So.
Yeah, he is the odd man out, but I mean, it seemed like John put across that it was kind of a mutual agreement. He said that Matthew wants to play, and John says, yeah, he deserves some playing time, but maybe not here because Sim has really taken the reins, and they got Pine backing up now. I mean, he's shown flashes of brilliance in the past, and they maybe want to develop him at this level rather than Junior A with a rough Melville team. I don't know what his numbers were in Melville, but I know the team hasn't done well. So I think maybe they thought, well, we should bring him up. And Keeper's been up and down lately. Like, he's had a couple tough outings, and
he had a super hot start, but then just didn't do very well his last 2 starts, and then started riding the pine or sitting in the press box.
Yeah. So, I mean, to get a 4th round pick from Kamloops, which is actually Edmonton's. So that's actually going to be probably the 67th pick, the first pick in the 4th round. So that's not a bad pick. He was picked in the 3rd round late, so it's almost what he was picked at. Plus, they get a 6th round.
Yeah, decent recoup because he wasn't doing anything here. He was backing up or basically sitting in the stands. It's nice. I'm glad he got to go to Kamloops, and from the sounds of it, Kamloops is going to play him, which is good. I hope he does well. I really liked him when he was here. It's just for some reason he just couldn't be consistent. That might be the whole team being inconsistent.
Yeah, right.
But when your team's inconsistent, you can be inconsistent. But he didn't really save too many games other than his big 51 save performance earlier this year, which was amazing. Yeah,
the one in Brandon, it was really good. But yeah, we've seen the flashes of brilliance, and you thought, if it's every player at this level, you just try to find that consistency. But yeah, he didn't steal much for the team when they were inconsistent. And I mean, your goalie, you hope you can get, you get that goalie when the team is inconsistent. You can hopefully get that goalie to just be your rock back there, right? And Sim, I mean, he's had a couple tough ones lately, but the team is, obviously without Bedard and Svozil here, the team is struggled as a whole. So, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, like you said, he moves to Kamloops. That's awesome for him. Kamloops was looking for a backup goaltender. They had an import situation with Demick coming back whenever he does come back, or not coming back, but coming to the team. He's out with injury. They had 3 imports, and their backup goalie was an import. So obviously, he hadn't the best numbers either. So it was he was clearly going to be moved.
He hardly ever played, so it's pretty hard to get numbers when you hardly play.
Yeah, right. So obviously
he had 7 or 8 appearances or whatever it was. So,
and they have a pretty strong goalie in Ethan Ernst starting. So a guy with some decent experience in the league, that's not a bad pickup for them. I mean, there might have been better options out there, but as we've seen, the prices may be kind of outrageous right now.
Oh, for sure. It's interesting that they got two 18-year-old goalies in net. They're both 04s. Ernst and Keeper are both 04s. So
Yeah.
that's weird for a Memorial Cup team to have two 18s, not
Yeah,
like
usually a
a
19
super
or
like a 19 or 20 vet or whatever.
yeah.
But the deadline's still a couple days away, so
Yeah,
you never
from
know.
time of recording, you still got a day and a half plus to swing some more deals. And then I guess the next deal was yesterday. Easton Armstrong got moved to Winnipeg for Omen Harmacy. Straight up 1-for-1, player for player. Nothing crazy here. Armstrong, maybe we thought this was an odd trade, but Armstrong's really come on this year. He's got 13 goals. He's looked good, but they are liking a young right-handed shot defenseman. John does make some comments on this after the Calgary game that we'll throw in here. And so, from the outside, yeah, the Pats need some bodies at forward, and he addresses that. He's like, yeah, we'll be looking for a forward or two now. So it's kind of odd that way, and he's producing fairly consistently lately. Like we mentioned last show, he was on 11-game point streak with 11 points. So it's kind of odd, but it is what it is, right?
It definitely addresses next year's situation on the back end. It helps, anyways. But with Stringer coming back and Bedard coming back, I don't know. Stringer seems to be more of the player they're looking for, like a net front presence, a guy that can kill penalties. And for a guy with bad legs, block shots. He's probably blocked more shots since he's been back than the whole team has combined in that same time frame. So I don't know. It's interesting to see what'll happen after this. I did like Armstrong, but seeing Harmacy play the one game, just the bits and pieces or whatever of it, he seems like he could be okay. A little bit smaller, but he seems like he's pretty solid in his defensive zone and stuff. So hopefully things turn out.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting what happens between now and the trade deadline on the Pats front. I don't think there'll be anything crazy, but you never know, right? Like there's some serious prices out there. We'll talk maybe at the back end of the show about the other moves that have been made in the league. If you haven't seen the crazy deals, we'll give our quick thoughts on those later. So here's John talking about the Harmacy Armstrong deal.
For sure, it was tough to give up Army. I coached his dad 23 years ago, and he's a great kid, and he's improved over time, which is what you're supposed to do. But I think it came down to, and we, I'm on the look for a forward or two, with Ty and Chancey out, but you get a chance based on what we've seen when we played against them, which is sort of hard really to scout from the bench, and reports on him, and you watch some video to get a player a couple years younger on defense and a right-hand shot. He's one game doesn't make the thing, but it looks like he has a chance to be a solid player, for his time here in Regina, which is a significant amount of time, as a 17-year-old.
Yeah, so I guess we'll talk about the games. We had, I don't know if anybody watched this game. Pat's in Brandon on Tuesday.
I had one eye on it and one eye on the Canada game.
Yeah, you had to watch the game kind of to do the recap for the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't really even see the first two periods, and then the third period was kind of just it just didn't look good at all, right?
If I wasn't helping out with the recap, I probably would have turned it off. No offense to the Pats, but I probably would have turned it off because it was just a blah, boring hockey game. Like no effort. It seemed like it was both ways. It was just meh. No. Like, a game they probably could have won, or on paper technically should have.
It was only 2-1 going into the third period. Like it wasn't a blowout at that point. I turned it on. Yeah, I know. Then Brandon scores 3 straight, and then Stringer finally gets one, chips in his first goal of the season late in the third for just kind of a garbage time goal.
Yeah,
but
when Sim took that penalty and they scored on the power play,
yeah,
it seemed like it really that messed him up confidence-wise or something. I don't know what it was, but something seemed to really throw him off. And yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, he takes that delay of game. He played the puck out of the trapezoid. Like, I haven't seen that in forever. Like,
it's been a while.
Goalies are, that rule has been around for so long now that goalies, it's second nature for goalies. And yeah, he takes that penalty at 46-second mark of the third period, and it kind of just went downhill from there. Like, they didn't score on that power play, but
No,
but I think
it seemed like it threw him off or something. I don't know what happened, but it was interesting. It wasn't good.
Yeah, he didn't.
They scored 2 goals within a minute of each other, and yeah, the route was on.
Yeah, and then he came out of the game, and Pine entered the game at that point. So
yeah,
it was an odd game, and like you said, it was there. It was there for the taking. But Brandon is kind of on a bit of a hot streak here since they've changed coaches. They've played quite well, so it's kind of a team that is behind the Pats in the standings, and it's kind of like, oh, could have used that the 2 points there, So,
and the face-offs in that game were pretty bad.
Yeah, that's kind of a broken record, right? The face-offs have been bad lately. Yeah,
39-22 for Brandon. It's just, that's not good.
Yeah, and Brandon was 3 for 4 on the power play, right? That's not good at all.
That's an ouch.
Definitely.
Okay, move on from that one.
Yeah, I mean, well, it doesn't get much better in the next game, right?
But we can talk with this one quick.
Yeah, Seattle come to town. It's going to be tough. Yeah, sure, they've got 4 guys out, but the Pats are still without their 2 guys. Everybody, I think, was in the building, save for Stan. The Seattle guys were in the game. They were taking pictures with some fans. I seen some pictures of them with their gold medals with some Pats fans. So that's kind of cool.
Connor was underneath the stands in the lounge there watching it, I guess, on Access or wherever.
Yeah.
But he was in the building.
Yeah. Didn't make an appearance out in the public,
No,
but
they wanted to keep him.
Yeah,
keep him hush.
I know. I don't disagree with that, right? Because people are just not that they're overwhelming, but everybody wants to see them and do that and stuff. But
we could talk about that after the next game.
Yeah, exactly, right. So they come in, Seattle comes in, and like we said, they're on a hot streak even without those guys at juniors. Ratzlaff has been hot. He was goalie of the month, and they
were on like a 13 or 14 game point streak when they came into town.
Yeah,
it did. Yeah. They're pretty solid team up and down the lineup.
Yeah, they're just deep. They're not. I don't want to say not flashy. Like you think Winnipeg, they've got lots of speed and everything, and it just seemed like they just capitalized on all the Pats turnovers. Like it was just turnover after turnover, and there was like 4-on-1s, and they hit the post on the one, and it was just like it was just mistakes by the Pats, and they just capitalized. Boom. Like it's not like, and they had lots of chances on transition. They didn't skate circles around the Pats in their own zone.
No,
like they weren't dominating the zone like that.
Their lineup from top to bottom seems to be very similar.
Yeah,
they all play a similar style. They're all it's like a machine. You probably could take 2 or 3 more of their guys off and put 2 or 3 different other guys on, and they'd still play the same, and they probably still win a bunch of games.
Yeah, it was similar to the Saskatoon game, right? Saskatoon was just, they played their game to a T and just quietly dominated the game, right?
Yes, Saskatoon's fast. They got a bunch of small, shifty, fast guys, which is a little different than these guys. But yeah, it's a similar type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Regina, they ended up getting 15 shots in the third, but by that point, the game was out of hand, and
it was 6-0. Seattle had nothing to worry about.
No, and
just shut her down.
Yeah, exactly. They were kind of coasting and stuff. I mean, the funniest stat, or the one that kind of stands out, is the Pats won the face-off battle. They won 32. Seattle only won 24. So maybe that's what Seattle needs to work on too.
Yeah. Well, the 2 of their guys weren't 2 of their guys forwards or whatever. So
yeah, Schaefer and
just Schaefer was a forward. The other 2 are D and a goalie. So
right.
Never mind.
Yeah, right. Just Schaefer. But yeah, so we knew it was going to be a tough game, and it was real tough, real ugly. But
third period gave a little bit of hope, but
Yeah.
At that point in time, it was done.
I thought Pine played as well as he could. Like he made some big saves. He made quite a few real good saves.
Yeah, for his 2 starts, he's been kind of left for the wolves or whatever you want to say, and
Yeah.
he's played well. Like in his first one, he was a little shaky, a couple goals because maybe nerves or
First
whatever.
game back, yeah.
But when you're playing against Winnipeg and then you're playing against Seattle, basically the top 2 teams in the league playing against you, it's like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
It was his second appearance or whatever, and then their second start or third, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think he's only got 2 starts, right? Those
Yeah,
two.
two starts. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. He's made that one other appearance in relief of Sim there and Brandon. So he's only got the 3 appearances.
So you can't really expect much more of him. He's not going to be a savior like he was last year in his few appearances.
I mean, the games he did win, like he wasn't playing the top teams. Like he didn't beat Winnipeg or any of those teams.
Yeah.
It was Calgary, which was a decent team.
Yeah.
But, they weren't at top of the standings. But, I mean, sure, 6 goals he gives up. But, I mean, they weren't on him. It's on the team as a whole. And I asked John what he thought of his game, and he's like, he's the least of my worries. I just had a quick question. Maybe I should expand it. Like, he played well. What did you think of his game kind of thing? It seemed like he played well. What do you think of his play? And he's like, no, that's the least of my worries. It was kind of just a bit of a short answer, but it was a short question. I didn't really expand.
I think it could be his answer for the next game as well. It's the least of his worries is the goaltending.
Yeah. Right. I guess we'll go right into that game then. If you have nothing else there.
No,
nothing else to talk about that. So Calgary. So obviously the big news, Connor's back in the lineup. John was asked if he was going to play Sunday, and he didn't say yes or no. And I mean, after the game tonight, Rob asked him, well, you weren't too sure if he was going to play or not, and John was like, well, I left it up to him, so I knew what the answer was going to be. I think Connor would have played Friday I'm sure it was a team decision not to play Friday.
Pretty much, I would assume so.
I mean, he flew back on Friday. Like that's a quick turnaround. But I think the way we know Connor Bedard, he would not say no to playing if it was given the option.
Well, yeah, for sure, because they played Friday, they play Sunday, and then they're off again for 5 days or whatever it is until Friday. So he'd have a couple days to rest up.
Yeah,
his mind, anyways. I'm thinking, but
yeah, exactly right. And this is in the interviews, but John said that he's going to be off the ice for like at least 2 to 3 days this week. So just give him a break.
I say good luck with that.
Yeah, right. Like we'll see what happens.
He might not be skating, but I'm sure he'll be on the ice shooting pucks because that's his thing.
He always shoots, right? Yeah.
Shoots pucks.
Yeah. Maybe he'll just be underneath shooting kind of thing, right? Okay, I can't shoot on the ice. I'll shoot in, somewhere else.
Shoot somewhere.
Yeah. So, yeah, Calgary, Calgary's a decent team. They're 10 games over 500. They're really good defensively. They got a great penalty kill coming in. Sure, their starters out, but their backup goalie's got some decent stats as well. But the Pats, right off the hop, 3 power play goals. That's the difference. You get Connor back, and he makes a world of difference, especially on that power play. Like we said, it was looking pretty rough.
It said the beginning of the year, it's like 7.7% or something like that. So until tonight or till today.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I don't know, what else can you say? Like we said this about watching Connor at the Worlds. What else can you say? Like 4 goals, 2 assists, in on every goal. Like
the team had 27 shots and he had 13 of them. So he had almost half the shots.
Half the shots, yeah. Like
that's pretty wild. That's a wild number. You just I can't even fathom that.
No. Like
it's Suzdalev scored on his only shot. Howe had 2 shots. He scored. It's I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, Bateman had 2 shots. Stringer had 2 shots, and then some singles.
Yeah, Oremba had 2 as well.
There, yeah. So,
but But yeah,
I mean, they're efficient. What can you say, right?
got to get some shots. If you
No,
get more
I know.
shots, you might score more goals.
And so this is addressed in the interviews too, but John was just like, Rob asked him, you said Gretzky couldn't help this team out, but Connor sure did. And he's like, yeah, Connor helped, but look at the rest of the game. It wasn't good, he said. You look at the shots against, you look at the chances against. Sim played real well. The penalty kill was good. You know, they were 7 for 7, but you know, giving up 44 shots. Again, the faceoffs, 43 for Calgary, Regina 24. Like it was a rough game. If you look through it, right, look through the Connor magic, it is still a rough game.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know. I don't know what else to say other than the Bedard magic. It's if we had no Bedard, we as in the Pats had no Bedard, I don't know if they would have had a chance today.
I don't think so.
I honestly don't know. I don't know if they can allow 44 shots and expect to win. I don't know. It's mind blowing actually that he comes back and has 6 points in his first game back.
It is. He hadn't had 6 points in a WHL game before.
It was his first 6-point game, his like second 4-goal game, and he didn't play. I don't think the last like 7 or 8 minutes of the game. They had all the second, third, fourth line guys playing.
Yeah, at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he scores at the 10-minute mark of the third period, and I probably shut it down pretty much after that. Maybe you took it personally, Kai Uchaz passing him in goals. For the
he almost got back.
I know, in one game, right? Kai Uchaz of the Red Deer Rebels really had a hot streak there. He had 10 goals in 4 games. He had 3 hat tricks and a single in 4 games just recently, and he passed Connor for the goal scoring lead in the WHL. But yeah, like that's crazy. He just 4 goals. You know, he's had one day off, or a couple days off coming from juniors, and just that, like you said, Bedard magic. So that's crazy. So we got a few comments from John and Connor here talking about the game. We'll throw those in now.
You said on Friday that Gretzky probably could have helped. Got Bedard back today. How much of an impact did he make?
Well, I'm going to answer that in 2 parts. He clearly made the impact and the difference, but he didn't really help the rest of the players. If you check the shots on goal and the opportunities. So I was right in both ways. You were wrong in both ways. I mean, clearly he was Connor, but we have a lot of work to do this week, the rest of the players.
You've talked so often about his ability to rise to the occasion. This was another one of them in a way. Does it even surprise you when he plays like this in a much anticipated game anymore?
No, I guess not. Like, I mean, yeah, you do just get used to it, or used to seeing it. I mean, you know, the BC trip, he rose all the time. I think he had, in Kelowna, was the only game he was sort of, well, we weren't very good in Kamloops as a team, but he was sort of horse-collared there. They had Doc against him all night, and they, tried to do their best, and I think they did a decent job. But then he still set up Suze for the winner in overtime. So he seems to find a way to have a prominent result in the outcome.
John, the atmosphere in the building tonight, how nice was that to see?
Well, yeah, absolutely. You're just hypothetically it, but I think over the course of the season, if we're having 5,000 or 6,000, it probably means 5 or 6 wins. That sort of sounds corny, but it does. It picks up the team, and in certain times when you're at Hartford, you're not going to play all great games, so it picks up. And I really think it was a factor in BC. There was the excitement of it for Connor and stuff like that, but you always want to play in front of a full house, and there's the odd person that can't play in front of a full house for nerves, but really everybody wants to play in front of a full house, whether it's at home or away. So yeah, it was great, and hopefully we got a lot of repeats.
these last few days been like? Just a blur or a whirlwind, or how do you describe it?
Yeah, it feels like it's flew by. I think with obviously we got a back-to-back there, semis and finals, so you're taking a lot of energy with how intense those games are, and but it was awesome. I think being in front of that crowd and with the group we had, we were so close, and it was just so much fun. And then obviously to come back here and I was glad we had a game pretty quick, kind of get back into it and see the boys again. So it was a good last few days. No, I mean I was always going to play. I think especially with that game, I was see Calgary's close team in the standings. So I wanted to go out there and try to help us. And for me, I don't think I ever really thought about not playing.
Then how cool was it to go and get 4 goals, 6 points?
I don't know. I mean, it was good, I guess, but it was good for us. I don't know. Obviously Friday the boys were pretty upset with that one. Obviously a tough loss, and this was a big game to bounce back for sure. Yeah, it was nice. I mean, I missed it. Favorite rink. So, but no, I mean, for me, it's been a while, like you said. A couple months since I've been able to play here, and what a turnout for us tonight. It was energetic, and a lot of people here. So, it was exciting for us, and we're looking forward to continuing that.
Kind of looked at many Pats games yet this year, but now they don't want to miss the Bedard show. Do you feel that at all?
No, I don't think. I don't think I look at it as they're coming to watch me. They're coming to watch the Pats. It's not. It's not kind of about the one man. It's about our group. And but I mean, if people are coming, that's great. We want to have this building rocking, and every night we want to hear them, and that brings a lot of energy to our group. So I mean, if people want to come, that's great.
Stan, Pete, coming out tonight, 4 goals, 6 points, or is that just kind of the expectation at this point for yourself?
I don't know. I mean, for myself, I'm not trying to put a points total out there. I'm trying to go and play. And obviously, for me, I want to get points, and I want to produce. But when I'm out there, when I have the puck, I want to make plays and be creative, and that doesn't always turn out in points. But I just want to play my game, and obviously, if the points are going, that's great too.
Okay, now I guess we'll roll into quick thoughts on the junior playoff round there. Canada snuck it out, got the overtime winner. I mean, everybody's seen the Bedard goal, obviously, over Slovakia. Then a tight game to start against the U.S. It's kind of an interesting game there. Bedard, again, with a great goal, the first Canada goal, he just drives the net. Nothing fancy. He drives the net off a face-off win, and he puts in
nice pass by the D-man on that goal too.
Yeah, right.
Del Mastro, I think it was that pass
yeah,
to him. But it was
so.
a nice pass right to him, right on. Oh man, just a totally different Bedard. We don't usually see him do that in Regina.
No, not at all.
It's usually the one that's skating down the wing and ripping the puck. But he was net front quite a few times, and
he was
nice
getting into
it.
it.
A little different.
Yeah,
a little different aspect.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to play a little different role. He's playing on the wing. It's a face-off, maybe a little bit of a set play, and he goes to the net hard, and that maybe starts a little bit of the comeback. I know U.S. had a couple goals called back. Tough break for them, but Canada seemed to roll after that. And then into the gold medal game, and I thought Canada was really rolling in that game. They looked good. They were controlling the play, especially in the third there. I was like, yeah, it's in the Czechia end. They're not generating a ton of scoring chances per se, but, they're controlling the play. And I'm like, they're looking good. And all of a sudden, boom, Czechia gets one chance. They score. 45 seconds later or whatever it is, they score a second. And you're like thinking, oh, my.
Canada has had a Pats issue where they couldn't win faceoffs for the longest time. They were having trouble.
Struggling.
They were struggling. They couldn't get control of the puck, and it ended up costing them a few times. But yeah.
And the D were struggling moving the puck out of the zone. It was once they got it into the offensive zone, it was okay, but they really struggled getting the puck out of the zone. Some bad passes and stuff like that. But then overtime comes, and I watched the Czechia-Sweden overtime. Yeah, and it was really, really reserved, and there wasn't any really good chances until Czechia scored real late, at the 9:30 mark. This was total opposite. There was back and forth chances both ways. It was edge of your seat. There was only a couple whistles, right? and they have a 2-on-1. The guy kind of coughs up the puck, and Canada moves the puck up. I don't know who the D-man was there, and then it was Gunther and whoever else on the 2-on-1, and a great finish.
It was nice to see them get the goals from someone else in that game and not have Bedard carry them
The whole
through
tournament.
through the semis and the finals.
Yeah,
But
so
congratulations to them.
yeah, and obviously
It was a pretty exciting tournament because that crowd in both Halifax and Moncton, it was bumping and jumping, and they were cheering. They're cheering for the good guys, they're booing the bad guys, which is pretty funny.
yeah, and it sounded like they had really good turnouts for the non-Canada games too, so that's good to see. I think
for the one relegation game, they had over 8,000 people. So
the relegation round.
yeah,
This Latvia,
Latvia,
Austria. Oh wow, that's amazing. But that's the thing. Lots of people are saying, yeah, it needs to go back to the junior cities, right? Like Edmonton's played out, Toronto was played out. Like they just keep beating a dead horse in those markets, and then you go to a Halifax. Like I know Saskatoon Regina was in the running, the only other bid for this, but I mean, I'm sure it would have been almost the same thing here, right?
Yeah, especially with Bedard.
Yeah, right.
With the hype with Connor being there.
Yeah,
the tickets might actually be similar price to what they're paying in Regina.
Wow, I don't know about the finals because I looked at prices in Edmonton when I was there, and they were getting to triple digits.
Yeah, they're
so
the
for the
scalper
playoff
people,
round.
The scalper people were pretty
Not
crazy
even
with some of the tickets.
even because Edmonton wasn't well attended in Edmonton in the summer.
That's right. Yeah.
So it was getting up to triple digits for the playoff round. But yeah, so and obviously Connor broke how many records? Literally, I think he broke
over a handful for sure.
Yeah, all the Canada records are pretty much gone. The overall records aren't there. Peter Forsberg had a crazy tournament. Him and Naslund both teamed up, and they lead the actual single tournament points for the whole thing. But yeah. But other than that, yeah, he, like I said, he carried the load basically for Canada, and
One MVP,
obviously. I mean, and you think about it, and he's still 17. Like he's not a 19 that should be dominating this tournament. It's just that's the wild thing, right?
For sure. I gotta say, the hats that they give the champions were some of the ugliest hats possible.
Yeah, that
they
was.
Don't fit. They're just kind of
ugly.
They look like they just threw this. They stitched a logo on the front and said, "Here, wear this hat."
Yeah.
They don't fit any of the players. They look. Oh well, whatever. That's.
That comment was made in this household too. It was just like, oh my god, those are terrible. But
they're so bad.
Yeah. What can you do? Anyways, I guess we'll stop talking about that. We can hear from Connor.
No, we're not done. Got to talk about his jersey.
Okay. Yeah.
They did a jersey auction, and
they always do it every year, so it's not like they're jumping on the Bedard hype train.
And one of the first ones I saw for it was around, I think it was $3,300, and this was, I don't know, like 2 days into the auction, and then all of a sudden he sent me a picture. It was 11,000. It
was 11,
and then the next day it was at $30,000. It ended up going for $40,050 for a one game worn Bedard jersey. That's pretty insane.
That is crazy. So yeah, there's a few minutes here of Bedard after the Calgary game here talking about his experience there, and I asked him about it, and he just said it was just crazy. Like he saw it, he's just like, wow, that's crazy. So, but yeah, we'll listen to him about his World Junior experience now.
I mean, obviously we lost to a good team in the first game, and that's going to happen. And for us, there wasn't really any panic. I mean, obviously we had to figure out what went wrong, but in our room we never lost any confidence. And I think people take it pretty far when you lose one game when you're on Canada, but we knew what we had in our room and how good we were. So we never really kind of thought about the loss too much. Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, every game, every goal, it was crazy. It was nothing I had ever experienced. Obviously 11,000 people in there. having fun, screaming all the time. So it was electric, and that whole city supported us so much, and it was an awesome place to have it.
Getting kind of surreal, just how this last month has been for you.
I don't know. I mean, for myself, I think it's hard to really look at it, but when you kind of do, it's pretty crazy to be in that tournament and win another goal. I mean, that's 2 in 4 or 5 months for the 8 of us or whatever it is. So that part's pretty crazy, but for me, I'm obviously trying to take it a day at a time, and it feels like you're still just playing hockey like you were as a kid, and that's kind of how I look at it.
What was going through your head on your the post game interview where you kind of said, I don't want to talk about myself? Can you just kind of why was that important for you at that moment to say that?
Yeah, I mean, I had answered a lot of questions about myself throughout the tournament, and that win's not about me. It's about our whole group, all 22 guys. So for me, it was important to talk about the other guys and even the city and the fans. And in the moment, I didn't want to talk about. I mean, I don't really ever want to talk about myself, but you're gonna have to sometimes. But that moment especially, I mean, it wasn't about me. It was about the group.
John talks about giving some time off now to rest yourself physically, but how do you not become mentally exhausted dealing with us and every day and the busyness of your schedule this last month?
Yeah, I think trying to take the time when you have it. I mean, obviously it's a lot when you're there. You're getting interviewed every day and whatnot, but I think for me, I try to look at it as a positive, and I get to see myself on TV sometimes and stuff. So that part's kind of cool, but I'm just trying to relax when I get the chances, and obviously here we got a week with no games, so that's probably good for my body. I mean, I'd like to play again tomorrow, but it's probably good.
Shane Ray, Stan, he mentioned that he was getting under your skin a little bit. He was tripping in the first game. How was it to play against a friend and a teammate, and how deep you guys went in that battle?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were just kind of joking around. I think he was always giving it to me, but it's kind of the same stuff we say to each other in the room or whatnot, so it's pretty funny. But obviously he had a hell of a tournament, so I'm super glad they didn't win, obviously, but I'm glad he got to play in a final and obviously do that for his country. It's been a while since they've medaled, and to see his pride and their whole team's pride and where they come from, and just talking to him about it after the semis there, he was so fired up, not for himself, but for the whole country. So I'm sure it was a pretty awesome tournament for him, and I'm super proud of him.
Yeah, it sounds like the country's really taken after them, like they're doing a celebration or whatever. It sounds like back home.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they are. That's it's incredible. Like I said, I'm super glad they didn't win because it was against us. But for him to get that and experience that and go home, he's probably a bit of a celebrity right now. So I mean, I love him. He's the best guy. So to have that happen for him is awesome.
Did you say anything to Stan after the game? Obviously, two very different emotions.
Yeah, I just told him he was close, but we took him. But no, I was just saying that I'm excited to see him again, and I was kind of asking him when he's coming back. So obviously we'll see him soon here, but we were just kind of chatting, and that's pretty cool for us. We don't look at it too much right now, but I'm sure in a few years we'll look back and really cherish that, getting to play against each other, and especially at that stage.
Any thoughts on your jersey selling for $40,000?
Yeah,
Kind of wild.
That's kind of ridiculous. I don't know who's buying it, but that's hilarious. I saw that. I think someone on the team kind of told me. So that's pretty crazy that someone's willing to spend that money on my jersey. So it's pretty cool, and to think about that's pretty nuts.
All right, yeah, there's some good stuff from him. There was quite a bit of media for once after the Calgary game. There was 6 people, down there, which is crazy because usually it's just Rob and myself. So everybody came out. Obviously, I figured it would be busy because the Pats sent out a release saying Bedard will be available after this game. So everybody came out of their hole to talk Pats. And
to talk to Bedard.
talk to Bedard. Let's be real here. But
a couple of them did ask John a couple questions, but
yeah. So I guess moving on to the other kind of wild news of today, a couple crazy trades.
Yeah, January 8th, p.m. trades 2 days before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing. When we saw the rumors of both these trades happening, didn't think it was possible, but then it happened.
We thought 2018 was crazy, and the WHL changed rules after that one. This stuff blows it out of the water. Like, so obviously they changed the rules on trades. You can't trade signed 15 and 16s, and 17s have somewhat of a no movement clause. So instead of trading young guys, you got to trade picks. And like, I think the first one, I mean, they've both been in the works. Obviously, these deals these just don't happen overnight. But
I'm at a loss for words at both of them. Like, it's unbelievable.
So Zach Ostapchuk of the Vancouver Giants, formerly of the Vancouver Giants, a member of Team Canada, got traded to Winnipeg. So Winnipeg returned to Vancouver Skylar Bruce and Connor Dale. So two roster players. Then Hudson Landmark, Owen Breeze, two unsigned prospects because they're 07s. Then 3 first-round picks and a 5th-round pick. This kind of deal right here is kind of what I'm thinking Bedard could fetch. Like, I don't know how much more can you give up for one player? And it's just like, okay, Zach Ostapchuk just garnered all that.
And Ostapchuk, no offense to him, good player. He's 19. It's for half a year. Not even half a year. It's like 29 games.
Yeah. But I mean, Winnipeg is going to go deep, but that is a hefty price. Like, Winnipeg's pretty stacked. I mean, yeah, that's crazy. And obviously they picked up Armstrong from the Pats earlier. So, oh, wow. That's just crazy, right? And then you're hearing, even bigger deal. You're hearing the rumors, and Kamloops finally made their big splash. Olin Zellweger and Ryan Hofer from Everett off to Kamloops.
19 and a 20-year-old.
A 19 and a 20. So one guy's gone for sure. The other guy's
probably
99% gone. So again, just 2 rentals. And Blazers sent Everett Drew Englot, unfortunately, former Pat. He was the odd man out, being a 20. Caden Hamill, Ryland Pierce, Jack Baker. So I don't know if they're all roster players. I'm not sure. It doesn't specify here.
Two roster players and 2 prospects. One's played a couple games and plays for Flin Flon right now. And the other one's unsigned prospect.
Unsigned prospect. Okay, so then you get into the picks here. Now hear me out. So 23 first, 23 second, 23 fourth. Then you go 24, a first and a 5th. Then you go 25, a first and a 3rd. Then you go 26, first, a 2nd, which is conditional, and a 6th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 firsts, 2 seconds, a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. For 2 players.
And 4 players for 2 players.
That is
wild.
I
don't even know what to say.
Yeah, like, that is crazy. Like, so I think quite a few people have been saying, like, does the WHL go to an OHL style and protect first round picks? Because you got to protect these GMs from themselves.
But the problem with the Western Hockey League is that they do a draft a year younger than Ontario.
Yeah,
so
right. Those firsts are not as...
There's a lot of times firsts aren't as valuable, so to speak, when you pick them, because you never know if they're going to show up or not.
Yeah, you pick them earlier. They're one less year of their maturity, their game, that you're not 100% sure on. But
yeah, lots of time to change their mind here.
That too.
Ontario,
yeah.
most times, I think most guys end up signing. Like, the first round guys end up signing with whatever team they play for.
Right.
Or drafted by, not play for.
Yeah,
drafted by.
I mean, if you can get them signed right away, that isn't a big deal. They do have to wait. They can play some.
Yeah.
But still, that's crazy. Like, that's just
a 14 for 2.
14 for 2. Yeah.
14 assets for 2. Like, that's it's mind blowing. And now you think about that trade in a context of a Connor Bedard, which won't happen.
Yeah, I don't. I'm.
They have adamantly said it will not happen.
Yeah,
but the deadline's not here yet. I'm assuming, I'm believing John in saying he's not going to trade him. But can you imagine what kind of draft picks and assets they'd have to put up to get Bedard?
yeah. Like if a team's willing to, if Kamloops is willing to send that much for those two players, like Hofer's, he had a great season last year. He's had an okay season this year. And Zellweger, yeah, he's good, right? Like
Zellweger's good.
Yeah, I think he was one of the better D-men at Team Canada.
Oh, and Kamloops needed to upgrade their D.
Yeah,
but that's a huge price.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That is insane. But yeah, like you said, what if he was to be traded? What could Bedard fetch? Like I thought this would have been not too much, because I don't think you could even put a price on what he brings to your team. But I don't think a team would have given up this much for one player or two players here in this case. Like that's beyond crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Right? You just don't know what to say.
Because seeing 8 for 1 or whatever it was and 14 for 2, like that's 20 plus assets for 3 players that are likely for half a season for each one of those guys. Like that's, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, but
it's unbelievable.
I mean, Kamloops is in the Memorial Cup. They've got that guaranteed spot. So they don't have to win the league. They just need to get hot in that week, you know.
But that's a hefty price to pay for 2 guys, though.
I'm not saying it isn't.
I'm sure they could have. I'm not in the inside. I don't know any of that stuff, but I'm sure they could have. They wouldn't have got Zellweger, but I'm sure they could have upgraded their D. They could have upgraded their overage position for a little bit of a lower rate than that. But I guess it is what it is. Well, Svetlikov, when he got traded to Lethbridge, he got some pretty good stuff, and he's only got 5 goals this year. So
yeah, 2nd and a 5th, was it, for Svetlikov?
Yeah, something like that. And he's only got 5 goals this year. He's a 19-year-old. So the price is, yeah.
And I mean, that's Lethbridge not even, they're obviously not going for it, but just trying to do a little upgrade, and they spend a 2nd rounder on a guy, with 5 goals, might not even be back next year, right? He could just be a rental. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's wild. So I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, this might be the peak here. I mean, obviously there's going to be some more movement here in the next little bit before the actual deadline, but I don't see anything wild going down.
The top teams don't have much left to give up.
No, right?
So I don't know. And if the rumors are true that Lambert is going to end up in Seattle, I think they surrender a 1st round to Saskatoon
and other picks.
Yeah, 1st plus whatever else.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like if that happens, maybe Saskatoon's a buyer and they'll add.
They get a 1st rounder here in the next, right? They get an extra 1st rounder that they maybe thought wasn't going to come, that they weren't counting on, right? And
sure.
Boom, okay, we've got not a free 1st rounder. Let's maybe pick somebody up. But yeah, that rumor's been out there. Nothing's that's not done yet. So who knows what's going to happen there?
And as of right now, Seattle has 2 open import spots. So
yeah, it's another place to look at, right?
And I'm not sure what kind of assets they have left. I'm sure they have some assets because of the rumor that Ken Campbell kind of threw out there on the internets about a potential offer to Regina or whatever. So they must think they have some assets.
They must, yeah. I mean,
maybe they'll be thinking of adding even more. Like I don't know what else they could add to that team. They got solid goaltending, solid defense.
Yeah,
pretty darn good forward crew.
Yeah, I don't know what they gave up in that Prokop deal, but I mean the Allen one was huge, and you're giving up a 1st plus a couple other picks for Lambert if he does come. So, yeah, it's interesting. And so I guess we'll move on from that. Quick little preview for the weekend here. You got Saskatoon and Portland in town. Obviously, we haven't seen Portland in a while. They're hot. They just lost to Winnipeg tonight, but they are kind of quietly rolling out there. with their homegrown team. They've got 100% homegrown roster, which is kind of crazy to think about, all these trades and these teams making deals all the time.
And Portland just sits back and just plays hockey and wins games.
Yeah, they seem to be able to recruit real well there. So they have made some deals in the past. Like say the Joel Hofer, Dennis Cholowski deals that they've given up first, and Mike Johnson's on the record that he isn't looking to move first here in the next few years. So I don't see them making a big splash per se. They're pretty comfortable with the way they're rolling. Like they don't have a star per se. They're just, like you said, just playing hockey, kind of a team kind of effort kind of thing, and go from there.
Prokop went to Seattle for conditional first and a third and 23 and a third and 25, all conditional. The first round pick is in 2025, so I'm guessing all the conditions were met because he's back playing.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing those 3 picks are in Edmonton right now. So I don't know what Seattle's got left.
Yeah, especially if Lambert comes, right?
Yeah.
So. But yeah, you look at Portland here, they've got a 20-goal scorer in Gabe Klassen. But it's just kind of a nicely stacked, nicely spread out scoring. They don't have anybody kind of jumping off the page stats-wise, but everybody's got points. Like you look way down the list at 12th, Josh Zakreski, he's a rookie left winger. He's got 6 goals, 7 assists. Like, it's production all the way down the lineup. So that's and they've got some solid goaltending as well. So it's going to be another tough game. Tough 2 games with Saskatoon here. We just seen them. They looked really good. So it's going to be a tough weekend.
Saskatoon's missing some guys with injuries, but they're still
rolling.
They're still playing their game, and they're a tough team.
Yeah, and
they're showing they're a tough team.
Yeah. Svozo will be back for Friday if everything goes to plan. He went home to Czechia after the World Juniors. They're having a big kind of celebration, which is good. He's got some time off to go back home and kind of have whatever they're doing out there in Czechia. The team hasn't won a medal since 2005, so that's good for them. That they're a good. They've always produced good hockey players, so it's good to see them. Win another medal.
Yeah, they had a really strong tournament.
Yeah, they looked real good. And obviously, they were a goal away from winning, right?
Yeah. I enjoyed watching them. Their defense was pretty awesome.
Yeah, their defense was real good both ways, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, I think we should wrap that up. We got lots of good interviews in there, so this one's maybe a touch longer than normal. But you have any closing thoughts, Kevin?
No, hopefully the trade deadline goes smoothly and they add what they need to add, move what they need to move, and then go on the rest of the season and battle for a decent playoff spot and maybe surprise a few people.
Yeah, I mean, if Connor's going to roll like this, you get stand back. Those 2 big pieces, right? You see what Connor can cover up some warts, right, with his play.
For sure. Hopefully that happens.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, with that, we'll see you at the rink this weekend. Have a good night.
Have a good one.